Get it, you know, it was at least a 7-inch tall mound in the middle, and I would do that about 3 times and then just waddle out of there.
Yeah.
Barely be able to get into my truck. When I got to where I was going, I'd have to kick the door open on the truck and pour myself out of there like water out of a pitcher.
Did you keep your belt unfastened?
What belt?
Wear your big boy pants with the elastic in them.
Yeah, go in there with suspenders.
They had dumplings that were stuffed with some kind of meat, you know, mystery meat, and they were just to die for.
Yeah, they have chicken on a stick at this place, and I go up to it, and if there's an old lady there, I say, "Oh, squirrel on a stick, my favorite," and they always give me a dirty look.
I don't like you making fun of their cuisine.
No.
KD9 SCJ.
WB9DNZ checking out. Hey, have a good Sunday, guys.
Okay.
W9AM. Have a good run, Gregor.
See you, Greg. Thank you.
See you, Greg.
Have a good day, Greg. NU9N.
Bye, Greg. Have a good Sunday. Maybe we can start doing beers with Bob again here at some time.
All right.
I mean, the band's got a permit.
Well, you have to show up too.
I'm almost always there. I'm not going to stick around to the band is bad.
Oh, all right.
There isn't a single station on the dial except for me.
I'll try to turn it on then around 2 or 3.
It's usually I make a couple of different appearances, but the band just hasn't.
Yeah.
Try to be here so.
But 30 meters goes, that becomes unusable late after. There's a good half-hour minutes in there where you can't use either band. Even 60 is dead. 60 meters, nothing on there.
Now that's a new. I know Bill's around Rich on 60 meters a few years ago.
I've been hearing in the mornings, I've been hearing Japanese foreign broadcast on 7290 and 7295. They normally sign off about 10 o'clock our time, AM.
It's snowing.
I don't know what time that is in Japan, but it's probably late in tomorrow or something.
Let me go out and see if we have any here yet.
Got a good so I took a good half-inch off the top of the stump out here. I always put sunflower seeds on the stump, like eating off that. Probably shacked up over at the neighbors, I would guess.
Snuggle up with that.
The neighbor is about a half-mile away or so. I'm sure he gets up in the hay mound and they've got tunnels, they got canals going back through these hay mounds. There's heat comes off the hay.
We just got rain here so far.
That's what we had earlier, but it just changed over because we dropped a degree in temperature.
I've gone back and forth a couple of times here from rain to snow. We're back to snow again.
I'm at 35 right now.
Our high today is full. What do you, Rick?
It's 43 right now and a high of 52.
Just in the zone.
We're supposed to be above average for the next 2 weeks or so, I think.
Cool. Morning, dude.
What do you got down there?
Temperature-wise, the W9AD, what do I got here? 54 degrees. So, I mean, it's always cool in the morning. W9AD.
Sounds wonderful.
Bob, 59.
Oh, that's for December. That's fantastic.
It certainly is.
Dave, is Morelia up in northern Mexico?
No, it's central Mexico. It's pretty much in the center. It's between Mexico City and the Pacific Ocean. That's about, 200 miles to the west is Mexico City. 175 miles or something to the east is the ocean, Zihuatanejo.
How do you spell Morelia?
Morelia.
Kind of halfway between Guadalajara and Mexico City.
Yeah, Guadalajara is a little bit to the north of us, but there's a tollway that goes, from Mexico City over to Morelia, and then it just kind of heads kind of northwest to Guadalajara. Well, when we direct flight for about 6 months or something, when Aeromexican broke, Mexicana, we would go into Guadalajara, which is like 3 hours. I think 3 hours and 15-minute ride. Francisco would just pick us up there because it was direct from Chicago to Guadalajara. But now, there's plenty of flights direct from, there's flights from Midway and O'Hare direct to Morelia.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, that's one of the reasons we wanted to, come into here because, unless going to Guadalajara, there was certainly plenty of flights into there, but Guadalajara is the size of Chicago. We didn't want that.
Yeah, well, my folks were pretty far out of it, pretty far out of town.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it would be like if you went into Chicago and you went into one of the airports and just headed away for the city. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. But, actually, the airport of Guadalajara is relatively close to the tollway there. So, you didn't even have to go into Guadalajara much to speak of before getting back on the tollway and heading here.
Yeah, it was pretty much directly south of town, as I recall.
Yeah, probably another tollway entrance or something too.
Yep. The peripheral was the expressway that went around the entire city. And my folks were north of the city, north of that peripheral.
Okay, yeah, we've got the same, well, the city's the same way. There's the same kind of peripheral running all the way around this thing. And to get to the tollway here, though, you got to go, there's a connection to the tollway on the north side of Morelia, so you got to go on that thing that takes you out to the Aeropuerto, the Generalissimo Francisco Mujica Airport, and then it connects to the tollway. Generalissimo's still dead.
Yeah.
NU9N.
W9AM.
NU9N.
KX9 dog.
And SDR.
Hey, John, that's one thing God probably prefers fruit of the Spirit over religious nuts.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty good. Yeah, there's some really good one-liners in there. Boy, ain't that the truth.
Yeah, they're saying one Hamas leader involved in October 7th was killed. That's good. He's probably partying with virgins.
Yeah.
God is your co-pilot. Swap seats.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to into the frame down there so they don't blow over again. And but I'll be on when I'm done here. Catch you later. W9AM.
Michael, make some breakfast before you make some brackets.
I think I will do that.
Have a good day, Michael.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
W9AM.
Well, I'm going to put a following out. I'm going to go do some breakfast myself. I'm ready for it. We'll catch up here. We'll try to be on here for beer with Bob this afternoon. 89 SDK.
See you, Jeff.
73, Jeff.
Yeah, later on, Jeff.
Just poking around on the internet after we were talking about fuel strength meters earlier, and I was looking for the one I had when I was a kid, and I found it. Couldn't remember the name on the front panel. It's a generic fuel strength meter, and it was marketed under a whole bunch of different names. But anyway, I was tracing this back on the internet, and it turns out it all goes back to General Cement in Rockford, Illinois. Boy, wasn't there a lot of electronics in Rockford taking place back then in the 1960s and 70s.
General Cement?
Yeah, GC Electronics. It was General Cement, but they had a ton of products.
Oh, yeah, I used to see their stuff all day. I didn't know it was cement.
Yeah, GC, that's what it stood for.
Yeah, they made a lot of stuff.
Boy, they sure did.
Yeah, Rockford has really changed a lot in the last 20, 30 years. When's the last time you were in Rockford, Rich?
Just driving through. I lived there 5 years. I used to drive by that GC distribution or manufacturing. I don't know if they actually manufactured anything there.
I think they just interfaced with Japan, with the JA Pan Company.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that's what I would think.
It changed names late from GC to something else.
LKG.
Oh.
Him and this Timpy guy and his wife bought it. And the Wayne Timpy, he passed away from cancer, complications from cancer in 2004. And now there's some Japanese guy has been in there since. But I think they just interfaced. I think they were importers.
The old downtown portion of Rockford, Rich, has changed big time. Done a lot of redevelopment.
Is down. I've been there in years. I mean, I should go through there one of these days to look at the properties. But is downtown changing, getting better?
Yeah, it is getting better. There for a while, it was pretty dumpy, but they redeveloped all that old Rockford, the original downtown, not the new.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to go through there one day.
Yeah, where 2 comes in, that's all been redeveloped. In the south part.
I might increase the traffic flow through the park, maybe. I don't.
Well, I'm going to get to you guys. Have a great day, and I'll catch up with you maybe a little bit later this afternoon for a bit. N8 SDR.
Catch you later, Rick.
See you, Rick.
73, Rick.
Yeah, it's about time for me to get some breakfast here as well, so I'm going to follow suit and catch you guys later. NU9N. See ya.
That's the little way you go on.
73.
We went out and got the Christmas tree yesterday, so we'll cut the bottom of that thing off and stick it in the pot. Later on today, I think that's the project here. And trees are not cheap down here. They got further to transport from Canada, I guess is where they come from. So, I mean, there's more transportation costs involved in them things.
I suppose.
Cleaned off the solar panels on the roof. Got a nice soft car wash type brush. It spurts water out of that thing, and I noticed they came up a few hundred watts on back to the peak power that I'd seen before.
Got somebody taking care of your place?
Yeah, no, they're the same people. They're here year-round. But, when we're down here, see, Francisco would normally, come around here in the afternoon and the evening and stuff, and he'd sleep here for a few hours and stuff. Just keep an eye on the place and make it look occupied. And he takes care of all the plants. There's lots of plants and stuff here, and maintains the joint. And his wife, Dioselina, she'll come over a bit while we're gone, and help him out a little bit when they got a little bit more to do. But when we're down here, they when we're down here, she comes every day, does laundry and cooks breakfast and lunch if we want it and stuff. So it's Connie really likes it because we don't do anything. We don't have to do any household stuff here at all.
Nice.
Good morning, Dave and Bob.
Good morning, Dave. Dave, too.
All Dave radio.
Well, my son gets his solar installation done next week. Tuesday and Wednesday it's scheduled. 44 panels on the barn.
Okay. Is he using a string inverter, or is he going with a bunch of them inverter, the micro?
I guess he's going with microinverters. That's the way this company does it.
That's the way my company was going to do it, but I told him he was to go away.
They have to trench about 200 and some feet from the barn to the house. That ought to be interesting. I'm going to go over there and watch this thing go in.
Why wouldn't they do a horizontal,
Oh, he doesn't really care. It's most of it is through the hay field, and then just a little bit is through the yard, so he doesn't really care.
I don't know if it cost any more though. That's the thing. This guy that did ours, I had him come out, and when we put another well in there, he pulled, 2 pipes, 4 feet underground, to the house where we put another pressure tank and control for the well, and the electricity in one pipe and the water in another. And then when we did the solar, he came back and did another one, 24 inches, just a horizontal bore. And the nice thing was, when he was gone, it was nothing. Well, the solar company came into us and said, what we're going to do is we're going to tear up your driveway there, and we'll tear the asphalt out, we'll tear the concrete out. I said, you're not going to do anything like that, And so I just had my horizontal boring guy come over, and it was inexpensive and clean as a whistle.
Well, Dave, now that you mention that, I'll take it back, because I'm not positive, which way. I know they're going to put the wires in conduit. So, I'm not really sure. Maybe they will, because they do have to go under a brick sidewalk. So, maybe they're going to do it that way. I really don't know. I guess I assumed they were going to trench.
Hopefully they'll do it that way, because it's clean as a whistle and it's not expensive. I mean, my guy that I use in, where is he? He's over west of Woodfield. Real good, real nice guy. And his guys are so quick, so fast, so clean, And they came in there, I think when they did the well pipes, he came at 7 or 8 in the morning. He's done at 9:30, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 2-3 hours. It's out of there, totally. And, they're gonna put a pipe in one way or another, whether they dig the hole and then dump the dirt back on top of it, or they do the horizontal boring thing. It's gonna be one way. The horizontal boring said it was just as clean as a whistle.
Well, I bet it's faster. I bet you that's faster than trenching, because, a trencher doesn't go, 3 miles an hour or something. So maybe that's what they will do, and maybe, it's a lot of less work. They don't have to backfill a hole and all that stuff. So maybe I'm wrong about the fact that they're going to, come in with a trencher.
Well, the one that was going to do us was, he said, well, we'll tear up your sidewalk, we'll tear up the driveway there, and then we'll come back and put in concrete. The whole thing would have been about another $8,000 or $10,000 doing it that way, is where, and they weren't ready to do anything like that. They were ready to just tear the hell out of the place, and the horizontal boring just really took care of that. And It's both for the solar system, the water, and the. But they went into the like a crawl space in the back of the house where we added, and I just bought just had one didn't buy it. He brought the pipe, and when they came through, I mean the guy just walks. He just walks with the sensor unit right on top of where the thing is, 4 feet underground, and he's just like guiding it along. And he's just slowly walking towards the house, and this thing's just grinding this hole, underground. He's slowly walking towards the house. And then he came into the crawl space where the thing came up through the crawl space, busted a hole, and we put like a slurry coat of concrete in there, just busted a hole in that, and then hooked on the 2 pipes and pulled them back through. And it was just clean as a whistle.
Interesting. I've watched the Comcast guys. We've a Comcast cable buried in the back of our yard. It goes through our yard, doesn't stop in our yard. But they always seem to dig the hole where they pull from one way and then pull from another way, and they always dig the big hole in our yard where they connect the 2 pipes. They've done it at least 2 to 3 times through going through our backyard. I don't know why they always pick our backyard, but we don't have a fence or anything. Our yard is wide open, so I guess they like working in our yard, but they've done it 2 or 3 times now. One question I have that I just cannot wrap my brain around is how the solar, basically it says to the house, take all your power from this solar panel and don't take it from ComEd. I cannot, thinking about how current flows, and you have to have a potential difference in order for current to flow. I can't wrap my brain around how the house picks the solar panel to take its energy from as opposed to ComEd.
Well, there's going to have to be some sort of a unit there. I mean, in our situation, we're doing it with the Tesla panel that comes in, and that's making the decision of where the power's going from, whether it's shooting it back to ComEd or taking it from ComEd. That's all happening in this Tesla panel outside. So there's an inverter in there's 2 inverters out in the barn, and those things are hooked up to the panels up above, and the output of those 2 inverters just goes to the house, but it goes to this Tesla panel first that makes that decision there. So, and I'm using Fronius inverters. They're DC string. There's 3 strings there, so everything stays DC, and you got a inverter that's puts out a really clean signal. I mean, the guys at Fronius say it's cleaner than the power company, and it might be, I don't know, but it's also got a Faraday shield on it, so in the cabinet there, so any of that, switching that's going on, changing it to AC is, I've never noticed an issue. And thing radiating off those on the roof. I want a bunch of I didn't want a bunch of solid state devices clacking away up on the roof.
Well, that certainly makes sense. I'm going to have to go out there with a transistor radio or something and see how noisy, what I can hear, coming off those inverters once this thing gets installed. But I guess that's the way these commercial companies all want to go. They all want to go with a whole bunch of micro inverters as opposed to one string inverter. So we'll see how it works out. But yeah, I just really had trouble wrapping my brain around how the house decides whether just, basically shut down or stop using ComEd as much as possible. I guess if the house draw exceeds the production of solar energy, then it uses some portion of ComEd. It's just trying to wrap my brain around how that all happens. When I think of, current flow and all that stuff and potential differences, you don't have any current flow if there's no potential difference. So how the heck does this whole system decide, where to pull its energy from? So maybe I'll understand a little more if I see the installation. I don't know.
Well, I know in the Fronius inverter, in other words, it's looking at power. Okay, if you disconnect and turn everything off, you now hook the power back up to the inverter that's in the barn there, and it just pauses and it waits and says waiting or whatever. And what it's doing is it's looking at ComEd, and once it sees that ComEd is there and stable and everything, it then starts to add power in from the panels. So that Fronius inverter, once you turn it on, it just sits there for a while until it determines that the power is coming from ComEd, because you got to have, somehow that thing continuously looks at ComEd, and if ComEd is gone, it turns off. But mine would stay on because of the Tesla panels, because that acts as ComEd. In the event ComEd goes down, my Tesla panels will. The Tesla backup battery business makes AC, and it'll actually fool the inverter and keep the thing on. But at the same time, it disconnects from Commonwealth Edison, which it's supposed to do. Which you can't have the power go down and then have you back feeding power down the grid, so we don't do that, but we can still stay alive because of the Tesla power walls. And then in the event that they lose power, it takes about 8 or 9 seconds, but then the generator will come on and bring the house back up. And if the generator stays on overnight with the house and the sun comes up in the morning, the panels will start recharging the Tesla Powerwall batteries. So, eventually would switch back over to ComEd when ComEd is stable again.
K9UWB. Well, you have quite an installation. Yeah, Craig is not going that far, at least right now. I mean, he's leaving the door open, I guess, but for now there won't be any batteries. It'll just be solar. And he did go green on a car. He needed to buy a new car, or a new car to him. He actually bought a used Audi e-tron, and I guess the court is still out whether that was a good buy or a bad buy. He's had the car for at least 2 weeks and been driving it for 2 weeks, and he just loves driving it when he can. Right now, the car is back to Audi, or he didn't buy it from an Audi dealer, but it still got the Audi warranty. It only had 16,000 miles on it, so it still has the Audi warranty. So the car's back at Audi because he got a coolant leak, or low coolant. Not a coolant leak. He got a low coolant level warning and called the dealer, and they said, have the car towed in. Do not drive it in. Have it towed in. And the Audi dealer did a pressure test on the coolant system, and the car failed the pressure test. So the last word that I heard from my son was that he got a call from the dealer, and they told him that it failed the coolant test, and that Audi was telling them to drop the battery box and pressure test the battery box because they determined that the motors didn't have a leak or that the coolant didn't leak into the motors. Somehow they determined that. So the last I heard, they were dropping the battery box out of the car.
Dude, okay. Yeah. The battery for the keeping the battery temperature right, coolant. Oh, geez. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I haven't had mine in for service for nothing. You know, the Tesla hasn't had anything done with it, and I do like it from that standpoint. You're not changing oil and stuff like that. It's pretty foolproof, and I don't have any mileage on that car. I think I got 10 or 12,000 miles on it. I've had it for a couple of years because we're, you know, first of all, my office is closer. You know, I don't go that far, and we're down here half the year, so we're using the cars down here. Boy, I was looking at the website of the BMW dealer down here, and they've got electric cars there too. I mean, I don't even think they have very many gas cars. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Everything I've been reading just in the last week or so say that the buying public has put the brakes on electric cars. They're just not moving them. I guess the dealers are getting an excess of them from what I'm reading. And, you know, I don't know if anything you read today is true. I think so much stuff is made up that, you know, I don't know what to believe. But they're claiming that people have, you know, the people that wanted electric cars have bought them, and now, you know, they're sitting on them.
That's probably it. But, you know, there's just so many things with it. I mean, if you're in Chicago, I mean, a lot of people in Chicago, I mean, you might have a house, you don't even have a garage with it. You know, I mean, and if you're in a apartment building or something, you're parking on the street. How the hell are you going to charge the thing when you're parking on the street? You know, I mean, and if you go to a charging station, you're going to be paying way, way more. I mean, I'm paying nothing to speak of. I mean, sometimes I can charge the thing and pay next to nothing because it's a watt hour or negative, you know. But I can do that with the variable rate stuff at home. But, you know, I think if you go to a charging station, you're paying, and it's getting back closer to the cost of gas, especially when you got a car that's going to cost you $10,000 or $20,000, maybe more than some sort of equivalent gas vehicle. And then you've got mileage. I mean, mine I've got a mile range, but you know, I think some of them are lower. So I mean, you're buying a car that you can't really take a long road trip with. So it has to be the car is going to limit you to some extent, and I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be, you know, they want everybody to go this way. It doesn't seem to be that can happen. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely, you know, I would be interested in one, but, you know, we drive to Michigan a lot, and according to Tesla's thing, you know, it tells me I've got to stop in Benton Harbor and charge, and then I've got to stop in Flint, Michigan, and all I'm doing is going, you know, like 400 miles, but Tesla tells me I have to stop twice and charge up before I can get there. So, but, you know, like for my son, he's just using his car for local driving. They have a Suburban for when the family wants to go on a trip. But for his driving, he's pretty much, you know, just charging at home and, you know, driving to the train station and driving to a customer's site, you know, locally where he can get there and get back without charging. So, you know, this car makes sense for him, and he really loves driving it. He says it's a really fun car to drive. And oh my God, it's the highest end e-tron model. He bought it used. Now he didn't buy it new, and I think the new price was like $89,000 or something like that, but he didn't pay anywhere near that in the used market.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, we took, you know, the Tesla to some sheep and wool festival or something that the wife wanted to go to, and it was, up near Madison, and I don't know, 30 miles further than Madison, and it was, one charge to go up there and come back. So, I mean, that was certainly a pretty good range. But I wouldn't want any less range. But it takes you there. Plus, I like that car because, it's faster now, which is kind of neat. And it is very comfortable, and it's quiet, and it's got all sorts of gadgets and shit in it. So, and I really like Elon, Every day I like the guy more, I never thought anything. I didn't think much about him one way or another. But I like the guy more every day. Everything's crazy about the car. Naming it Plaid, after Spaceballs, the movie. And I did tell you when I went to the radio in the car and turned it up, it went further, and it went to a...
Yeah. First, do you have a comment? Hop in. I'm sorry.
Maybe we bored Bob, even though he was IDing.
Oh, I'm poking around here on the internet. I'm listening.
All right, I didn't mean to take over here with my electric story, but it's been interesting following my son, and I helped him put in a level 2 charger. We had to run, he's not in Cook County. He's out there in McHenry County. But when his house was built, and I don't know what the code is out there, but the fellow that built the house put everything in conduit, so it's the same as being in Cook County. So anything that we've done, we've maintained, and everything is in conduit. So we had to run some, what about 25 feet, I guess. Yeah, about 25 feet of 3/4-inch conduit.
We had a box in the garage there where the feed going out to the barn was available, and that had a 50 amp breaker or something on it. So I just tapped in there and put the car charger on there because we don't use anything out in the barn anymore. It might be an issue if we put horses back in there and had all sorts of bucket heaters going all the time, but we don't do that anymore. So I just put in 3/4-inch conduit and put one of them Tesla chargers in there, and I think I got it set for 32 amps or whatever it is, and it always takes care of itself. I usually have the charging come on around 11 at night, and it goes off at 7 or 8 in the morning when it does need a charge. And of course, I try to run the car down. You don't want to charge it every night if you can help it, to help the batteries. And from everything I can tell on the analysis, it certainly seems to be like the range of the car is the same as when I got it, so. Well, like I said, I've only got 12,000 miles on it or something, so the number of charges is pretty minimal. I don't know what I would have charged the thing now, 100 times maybe? Probably, I've had it for 600 or 700 days or 800 days, I don't know. Probably charged it 100 times.
Yeah, that's something I wonder. I think he keeps topping the battery off only to 80%. He doesn't go to 100, he goes to 80. But first of all, this car, it's the big luxury model, and it's only got a supposed like 200-mile range, maybe a little bit over 200, but nothing, nothing major over 200, and he'll drop it down to maybe 60% or something like that, and then he recharges it. He never, gets it down to 40 or 30% before he recharges it. I kind of wonder whether he should be exercising it more than just the, top 20%. Well, top 20% between 60 and 80. not between 100%, because that's detrimental to the battery. But I think he should drop the charge level down further. But he's got what do they call that? Charge phobia or something like that. He's going to run out.
Yeah, no, mine on a normal basis, I run up to 75, 80%. When I'm home right now, it's sitting in the garage and it's at 50%, which is where it should be when the car is basically in storage. The same way that my e-bikes, I leave them at 50%. And that's what you should do. And with the bike, I run the bike down 10%, try to run the car down to 10%, and then I charge it back up.
Yeah, that's what I think he should do. Especially since a lot of days he's only taking it to the Crystal Lake or to the Woodstock train station and home. So he's only going 5 miles or something in each way. So maybe 10 miles. So he could safely run it down to 10% and charge it up.
That's what I would do. It's going to lengthen the battery life. I mean, it's the charging cycles that are going to affect those kind of batteries. So unless they've done something to it, but I mean, you go back to everything that they've said about those kind of batteries, and you're better off utilizing them down to a lower level. You don't want to get them below a certain level. But I've brought that car home a few times and charged it back up from 6 or 7%. And it's only when it gets to 6 or 7% that the car, really starts to warn you, hey, you better start charging it up pretty soon, But as far as it's concerned, it seems to be fine to run it down to a single digit, which I do quite a bit. Sometimes I don't think I ever charge it unless I'm going somewhere, unless it's unless it's at around 10% plus or minus a few, unless I'm going somewhere, I'm going to charge it, at a level of around 10 or less, or plus or minus.
Well, I think that's the smart thing, and I'm going to have a discussion with him. He takes it at night, of course, but I think every time he takes it out, we recharge it. I think he needs to start running a lot further and then charging. I'll have that discussion with him.
I think it'd be better for it, So, but what are they doing? They're talking about Christmas food hikes here. The cost of stuff due to the Dementia Joe Bidenomics.
Oh, absolutely not. He's lowered the price of food. He dropped the price of Thanksgiving dinner. Haven't you heard that?
Yeah.
I also read last night that he was shaming the automakers in their slowdown of EV production. He's telling them to gear up and get those production lines going, and this is the car of the future, and you'd better just keep producing those cars. The other thing that I'm interested in St. Clair, Michigan, where our condo is, they've got a company there. It's going to take me a few minutes to think of the name of the company, but they're a huge corporation. They're a huge multinational corporation, and they've just built a huge production facility to build battery boxes for cars, which is, the whole underpinning of the cars. We know those battery boxes, which when I heard battery boxes, I'm picturing a box for a 12-volt battery. Silly me. But I, found out that, what they mean is the whole underpinning of the car is, the battery box. So anyhow, this company's putting on a huge addition, manufacturing facility addition, and now I'm hearing that EV sales are slowing up. So I wonder what's going to happen to that big addition that they're putting on and the huge tax credit that they got from the governor of Michigan. So haven't heard anything yet, but all this is kind of new this past week where they've talked about the slowdown. But I'm going to be interested what this huge building produces now that things might be slowing up.
Yeah, I closed my screen by mistake. Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. I mean, it seems like the market is basically saying we're not really quite interested yet. But I mean, there's a whole lot of other issues. The range, where are you going to charge this from? You think it's going to be all this savings? Well, I don't think it's going to be much of a savings if you got to go to these charging stations and plug your card in there to do it. And then again, that's an inconvenience. I mean, going to the gas station for 6 or 7 minutes versus, going to a charge station for a few hours. I mean, where is the charge station? Another thing I just heard is that so many of these charging stations are broken and not even working. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like everything's, trying to roll forward at high speed, and it's not gonna. People don't want it, and I don't know. The whole thing seems ridiculous to me. Again, that's the reason I bought the electric car was, because it was faster than my hell, and my kids thought it was kind of cool, so that's the reason I got the thing. And I do like it because it really fits my style, and I don't go that terribly far, and it still has a 400-mile range, and it makes sense for me. I can't think of anything else that I would want right now. I mean, if I did anything, I would replace it with the same car, but why do that? There's nothing wrong with the car I have. It's, it feels and runs the same as it did the day I got it. So what do you need? After a number of years, you put some tires on it, that's about it, and then change some brake fluid. But that's about it. A W9A.
K9UWB. Yeah, you probably never put brakes on it, right? With regenerative braking, you probably never go through brake pads or rotors probably either. They probably last forever with the regenerative braking. Very interesting. Well, for a second car, and that's what it would be for me if I didn't drive to Michigan. As it turns out, my wife's car is getting up there in mileage now, and she doesn't want me to be driving her car over to Michigan. So, my car, or my replacement, because my car's over 100,000. My car's a 2010, and it's got 120,000 miles on it. And, I'm a little leery about driving that over to Michigan and then driving around there and back to 110. I know cars go 200,000 and all that stuff. I guess I'm so old that I'm still thinking when a car is over 100,000 miles. But, it's an in-town car at that point. My wife's car's got something like 80,000 miles on it. I don't think my car will. That can't be an electric car if that's going to be the car that drives back and forth to Michigan. At least not with the kind of mileage. You say 400 miles. If it's actually 400 miles, obviously I could make it there on one charge, but that's not what Tesla's telling me when I put in a Model Y and tell them I'm going to go from Rolling Meadows to St. Clair, Michigan. It says, whoa, wait a minute, you got to stop twice. It doesn't say, oh, no problem, just charge it up when you get to St. Clair. No, it's telling me to stop twice.
Yeah, I don't know what the mileage is on those, but I know it's, and it seems pretty accurate. And the other thing is, if you're going to get that mileage, especially if it's at a time of year where you're not going to be where it's not cold as hell and you're heating the thing, you know, or air conditioning it, you're going to get even more mileage out of it, you know. Because a couple of times when I've, you know, come home from the office and I'm at a single-digit percent or something, I say, oh, geez, I'll be heater, air conditioner, whatever, and just to be safe, you know. And it you know, I really didn't need to do it, but sometimes I'll do that just to get better mileage. You can see that, but I would say under the right conditions where it's not too hot or not too cold outside, you get very close to 400 out of it. So I haven't put that into the calculator to figure that out, but I would think that. I mean, if you're also, the other thing is, if you're going to be mashing on the pedal and, you know, accelerating like crazy and everything, you can see where it's using more battery there, you know. There's also a in the Tesla, there's a plaid mode, which is fastest, and there's a sport mode, and then there's a chill mode. Whenever the wife is in the car, she says, is it on chill? Because she can't take the acceleration, you know, it makes her sick. So I have to put the car on chill whenever she's in there for some reason. But when we go out in the Ferrari, you know, and I do the same thing, you know, just about the same, you know, she doesn't get sick. So I don't know what it is with that acceleration without the sound and stuff, maybe, I don't know.
Another interesting fact, my wife is on a forum, I guess, from Michigan, Port Huron, Michigan, to be specific. And last night she was looking at the forum, I guess, or maybe an alert came up, I'm not sure which, but we were sitting in the family room and she said, oh, look at this. Tesla's telling the people, and I don't know how they were communicating this, but this was on the billboard or whatever, that Tesla was saying that they were going to tow all the cars that were at the Tesla charging station at this hotel. There's the DoubleTree Hotel in Port Huron, Michigan, and they have a number of Tesla chargers at the hotel. Quite a bank, actually, because we've been there a number of times, not charging, but at the hotel having dinner. And there's a bank of chargers, and they're not in an optimum place. You know, they're off in the corner of the parking lot, but maybe there was a big event going on there. I don't know last night, but apparently people were parking in the Tesla charging booths or locations and, you know, blocking the chargers. And I guess you know, Tesla owns those chargers. They don't sell them. I guess some companies like ChargePoint sells their chargers to whoever wants to run the chargers and maintain them, which, you know, they don't do, and that's why you mentioned there's a lot of broken chargers. But anyhow, Tesla was going to go out there with a tow truck, I guess, and tow all the cars that were blocking the chargers that were not EVs, or were EVs and not plugged in, whatever. But I guess Tesla pays for that area of the parking lot that they're using for their stations, and I guess that's why Tesla chargers tend to work as opposed to be broken, as I guess Tesla actually maintains them and does turn it over to, okay, you know, you maintain them and you make sure they're working, which these people don't do, and you end up with a whole bank of chargers that don't work.
Yeah. There's I think a 4-bank Tesla charger out at the Generalissimo Francisco Munja Airport, Aeropuerto. I think there's like 4 of them there. There's a little hotel next to the airport there. I see them there. There's a Tesla charger over near the shopping center we go to quite a bit, along with some other EV type chargers there. And I think it's a free charging. I don't think you put a card in there. Just the Tesla one that's there looks just like what I got in the garage. So there's some of them down here. You see a few Teslas driving around here, not me. But the wife would like to. I mean, we got a BMW X1 down here, and she'd like to get another Subaru, but they don't have.
Maybe this afternoon, ban permits.
Okay, Bob.
All right, see you later, Roberto.
See if they have beers with Bob today. I'm going to be home all day.
Ban permits. Yeah, well, good. Very WB team. We really enjoy listening to your voice. We just don't seem to hear it often enough. Maybe we'll get in there. We'll be a little more active. So, 73, you guys, pushing it.
Have a good day, Bob.
I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take a bike ride here, get that out of the way. One of the bikes broke down. My son and his girlfriend she got saved there. We live here. And one of the bikes had wheels, so all three of us were going for a ride, but haven't been able to do that till we get the wheel back on Monday. But I got to get out there. I can't take it on a ride for a few days, so I'm going to do that right now, get that out of the way before everybody's up and running. So I will say 73s in the dead area, 9AD radio, south of the border, otherwise known as XA, W, 9AD.
Okay, Dave. Good chatting with you. With comparing notes on cars and charging and all that. I'll have to let you know how the installation goes. I'm going to be out there for 2 days. They're estimating it's going to take 2 days to put in the solar arrays. My plan on being out there and helping, supervising the whole project. They probably need my help. Take care. W9AD, K9UWB.
Okie dokie, 73s. Have a good one.